Hello, Mike Ako, and welcome to today's March 24th, 2021, 1 p.m. a joint AEN-Hawaiian Affairs Committee hearing in Conference Room 16 and via Zoom. The hearing, including the audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed live on YouTube, and you'll find the links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video page of the legislature's website at capitol.hawaii.gov. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to major technical difficulties, the committees will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business at 1 p.m. on March 29th during our AEN via video conference time slot, and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. For testifiers, all testifier audio will be muted and video disabled until shortly before it's your turn to testify. And because of our 90-minute time limit for each of our AEN hearings, there will be a 2-minute time limit for all testifiers. And we'll have a virtual countdown timer on the Zoom screen, so please be aware of the timer. I'll be announcing only the testifiers who will be providing testimony via Zoom. And for the complete list of testifiers, along with all of the written testimony, please go to the legislature's website, and you'll find a link on the status page for the measure. We apologize if the closed captioning doesn't accurately transcribe the names. So let's get started. We have 3 resolutions on our 1 p.m. agenda, starting off with SCR 246 and SR 205, requesting that a working group be convened to develop recommendations for implementing the Revitalizing Economy and Agriculture Leadership Initiative. And first up is Nicholas Comerford with CTAR.
Good day, chairs, vice chairs, and committee members. I'm Nick Comerford, the Dean of the College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources. We stand on our testimony, but basically saying that as written, it's not something we can support, yet we do support the idea of bringing people together. I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Next is the Hawaii Department of Agriculture.
Aloha chairs, vice chairs, and members of the committees. Phyllis Shimobukuro-Geiser, Chairperson, Hawaii Department of Agriculture. Will stand on our written testimony expressing our concerns. We do appreciate the intent of this measure, but we question our ability to participate and perform to expectations because of the proposed loss of positions and funding that's currently being debated in the legislature. Mahalo.
Thank you, Phyllis. Next is William Aila from DHHL.
Aloha, Chair Gabbard, Chair Shimabukuro, members of the committees. Apologize that Chair Gabbard Chair Aila is not able to be here for this hearing. However, we stand on our written comments and just, really quickly, we see opportunities to collaborate, and we did identify areas that projects have commenced for subsistence ag lots. If there's opportunities to collaborate in those areas for both our beneficiaries and the broader ag community, we want to move these options forward. Aloha.
Thank you very much. And that's it on the testifiers. Members, any questions? Okay, moving on to SCR 247, SR 206, requesting that a working group be convened to develop recommendations to facilitate homestead agricultural demonstration projects in the state. And let's see. Wait a minute, did I skip that? 247, 206. Okay, first up is Department of Ag.
Aloha chairs, vice chairs, and members of the committee. The department stands on its written testimony offering comments, and we defer to the other proposed participant groups such as DBED, UHCTAR, DLNR, and DHHL regarding sites, locations, on-farm development, training, economics, and production practices. We do offer our expertise, which would be limited to disease and pest expertise. Thank you.
Thank you, Phyllis. Next is Robin Punani Danner from Shaw. Robin in the house?
He is not present, Senator.
Okay. Thank you. All right, members, any questions on this measure? Okay, seeing none, moving on to the third SCR 260 and SR 219. This is endorsing and supporting AEN-based values to guide Hawaii to a healthy and thriving future. Let's see. We have Lydie Bernal with the testifying for Hawaii Farm to School Hui, Hawaii Public Health Institute, and Obesity Preventative Task Force. Lydie?
Aloha mai kako. Thank
Aloha.
you very much for hearing this resolution. My name is Lydie Bernal, Hawaii Farm to School Hui Coordinator. We support this resolution and really based on the understanding that the well-being of Aina, or that which nourishes us, equates to the well-being of us as people. And I wanted to share personally as a former garden educator how I've seen the importance of Aina-based education in not only the joy of learning for all students, but really it gets to equity in education because we have seen over and over again how students that don't do well in a classroom are the stars of a garden. They just thrive in that environment. So this resolution is really critical, not only for Aina-based education, but Aina-based values across all sectors of Hawaii. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lydie. Members, any questions on 260 or 219? Okay, seeing none, if we could go to the breakout room. The 1 o'clock joint AEN and Hawaiian Affairs Joint Committee for Decision Making. On the first measure, SCR 246 and SR 205, having conferred, the recommendation will be to pass this with amendments, given CTAR's concerns about the use of the term, quote unquote, restorative agriculture. We will remove references to it. And we'll also remove specific references to the Revitalizing Economy and Agricultural Leadership Initiative timeline, so it doesn't create any inconsistencies in the resolution. We'll also add the following language providing more background on the Revitalizing Economy and Agriculture Leadership Initiative by replacing the language on page 1, lines 22 to 27 with the following. The Revitalizing Economy and Agricultural Leadership, or REAL, initiative is a multi-phase catalytic change initiative that empowers Hawaii farmers to become self-sustaining for-profit businesses with local nutritional grass feedstock production and direct access to local and export off-taker markets. And REAL initiative is currently underway, and its proponents are taking necessary actions with community and industry partners to stabilize Hawaii's small farming businesses impacted by COVID-2019. We will also add this language about the REAL participants. REAL is made up of Molokai Homestead Farmers, Department of Education, U.S. Department of Agriculture, NRCS, the Kamehameha Schools, Future Farmers of America, Hawaii Agricultural Resource Center, Lanakila Pacific, and North Shore Economic Vitality Partnership. And there's some tech amendments. Any discussion, concerns? Okay, I'll take the vote on SCRs 246 and SR 205. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Nishihara?
Aye.
Senator Ocasio?
Aye.
Senator Rhodes?
Aye.
And Senator Favela?
Aye.
Mahalo. Moving on to SCR 247 and SR 206, requesting
Oh,
that.
hold on. Should Hawaiian Affairs take our vote?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thanks, I know I've been really quiet. Hawaiian Affairs, same recommendation. I think is Vice Chair Kehokolole here to take the vote? Let's see. I think, well, hopefully I should have a quorum if I've got a, okay, so I'll take the vote. So Hawaiian Affairs, same recommendation. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Kehokolole is excused. Senator Ocasio,
Aye.
Senator Ihara is excused, and Senator Favela.
Aye.
Okay, measure is adopted. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Next up is SCR 247, SR 206, requesting that a working group be convened to develop recommendations to facilitate homestead agricultural demonstration projects in the state. The chairs having conferred, the recommendation will be to pass SCR 247, SR 206 with tech amendments. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll take the vote for AEN. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Nishihara.
Aye.
Senator Ocasio.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Thank you, members. Measure passes. I'll turn it over to.
Okay, and then Hawaiian Affairs, same recommendation for Hawaiian Affairs. In discussion, Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Kehokolole excused. Senator Ocasio.
Aye.
Senator Ihara excused. Senator Favela.
Aye.
Okay, measures adopted. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And next is the SCR 260 and SR 219, endorsing and supporting AINA-based values to guide Hawaii to a healthy and thriving future. Members, Rule 61 has been a topic of conversation in the Senate this session. So this rule forbids resolutions that are congratulatory, commemorative, or memorial in nature. So with that in mind, the chair's recommendation will be to pass SCR 260 and SR 219 with amendments. We'll amend page 2, lines 24 to 28 to quote, urge the governor and county mayors to support further dialogue and convening of entities within all sectors of Hawaii to proactively develop new initiatives that strengthen AINA-based assets toward a more thriving Hawaii, unquote. And then we'll also update the resolution's title accordingly. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Nishihara.
Aye.
Senator Ocasio.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Thank you, members, and turn it over to Chair.
Thank you. And for Hawaiian Affairs, with 3 members present, the other 2 excused, are there any nays or reservations? Hearing none, the measure is adopted. Thank you.
Thank you. And this concludes the 1 o'clock joint with Hawaiian Affairs. Okay, calling up in the 105 AEN agenda. We'll start off with SCR 92 and SR 71. Requesting the Department of Agriculture to consider amending the eligibility qualifications and lease terms for its agriculture lots to aid small farm businesses. First up is Department of Ag. There he is.
I'm
Hey, Morris.
sorry. I apologize, Chair. Phyllis Shimabukuro Geyser from Hawaii Department of Agriculture. I was trying to start my video. We will stand on our written testimony offering comments and available to answer any questions. But we believe that our qualifications do serve the purpose of the intent of this this resolution, and that our ability to issue more new leases for small farmers is not because of our eligibility requirements, but because we do lack good vacant farmland at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, members, any questions? Okay, moving on to SCR 258 and SR 217, urging the Department of Agriculture to identify how coffee berry borer and coffee leaf rust entered into Hawaii and measures to prevent the flow of these invasive species into the state to protect the ongoing viability of Hawaii's coffee industry. All right, so on 258, Department of Ag.
Mahalo, Chair and members of the committee. The department stands on this written testimony. We support the intent of the resolution and we offer comments. We believe that, this represents a highly likely foreign pathway and regarding the intent of this measure, and that this would fall within the expertise and border jurisdiction of USDA. We're available to answer any questions, and we are doing ongoing work with our research partners with the federal government. And in the past, when we did collaborate with them regarding the introduction of coffee berry borer, the pathway and the investigation was inconclusive, and it was not linked to the importation of green coffee from foreign sources at that time. So we have requested a similar analysis with the USDA APHIS PPQ, and we'd just like to assure the committee that we are working with our federal partners to address the concerns and intent of the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Bruce Corker with Rancho Aloha. Bruce?
Chair Gabbard and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify. I am a coffee farmer in the North Kona district on Hawaii Island, and I would like to make 2 points in favor of this resolution. The first is that Hawaii's system of preventing the introduction of invasive pests and diseases has failed coffee farmers twice in the last decade. First, with respect to the introduction of coffee berry borer, and then last year with the introduction of coffee leaf rust. In order to strengthen Hawaii's protective system, we need to know what went wrong, what failed, how and why were these pests allowed to enter the state, and we need to prevent the introduction of other pests in the future. For example, there are a whole series of variations of CLR that we need to continue to guard against. The second point I would like to make is to emphasize what I think we all know, and that is when we travel to the mainland, our luggage is scanned and fruits and vegetables are removed in order to protect mainland farmers. When we travel into Hawaii, it is the honor system and amnesty bins in the airport. Hawaii needs to do a better job of protecting its farmers, and we think this resolution is a step in that direction.
Mahalo, Bruce. Thank you very much. Next is Chris Manfredi testifying for the Hawaii Coffee Association. Chris.
Aloha, Chair.
Hello, Chris.
Members of the committee, thank you for hearing our testimony. We submitted written testimony. We agree generally with Mr. Corker's testimony. We understand that the department is working generally in this area. We also understand that they may not have the resources, both financial and in terms of capacity, to be able to do this type of work. It also bears mentioning that APHIS stands for Agricultural Plant Health and Inspection Service. So these introductions generally fall under their purview. So just a suggestion, maybe a third party would be best equipped to examine some of the flaws in the system. There's been some debate as to whether or not fumigating with methyl bromide is an effective treatment for coffee berry borer and or leaf rust. So I think that needs to be examined. And if there is a report, as mentioned by the chair of the department, we would love to see that. And if we can assist in any way, we'd love to do that. We understand that there is a problem, obviously, by the introduction of the two rather devastating invasive species known to coffee. There are others, as Bruce mentioned. There's various races of rust as well as coffee berry disease. So we appreciate the support on behalf of the legislature, the department, the USDA, and the broader industry. And thank you, Chair, for hearing our testimony. We have available for any questions. Thank you.
Mahalo, Chris. Okay, and that's it for the testifiers on these measures. Members, any questions?
Chair, I have questions.
Okay, Senator Kasian.
Phyllis Shimabukuro Geyser, if you're available.
Yes, I am. Hi. Thank you, Senator.
Yeah. Thinking about the methyl bromide treatment, can you speak at all to the effectiveness of treating the green coffee beans for these particular pests and diseases?
Yes, I believe I have the staff available. Yes, I have Jonathan Ho with the plant quarantine branch, and also Darcy Oishi. If they can enter the room and they can address your questions regarding the treatment of coffee with methyl bromide.
So what is the effectiveness, for example, of treating the green coffee beans to preventing these particular pests and even other pests?
I think what maybe Darcy Oishi can start, and he can defer to Jonathan Ho if there's more information regarding the quarantine aspect.
Hi, Darcy Oishi, Acting Manager for Plant Pest Control Branch, Hawai'i Department. Sorry, Siri happened to be listening. Hawai'i Department of Agriculture. For methyl bromide treatments, methyl bromide is very effective on certain pests in terms of its ability to penetrate as a gas into the whatever is being treated. There are some caveats with its usage. For coffee berry borer, it is highly efficacious. For rust, it's a little bit more complex based upon exposure levels. Rust really would be a contaminant in green coffee as opposed to directly vectored, since the rust spores, rust is not expressed in the coffee bean at all. Coffee leaf rust is not expressed in the bean. So usually beans can get affected based upon where they're stored. So there's some research that has been going on efficacy for treatment of green beans. But when you look at the broader safeguarding and processing procedures for green coffee, those are actually where your primary protection against coffee rust would actually be.
Does roasting the beans before importation help destroy the pests and diseases in the similar
Rust, for both rust and coffee berry borer, yes, roasting would destroy the pests.
Okay. Have you folks heard about fraudulent certificates in terms of the use of methylbromide, where I've been doing a little bit of research within the community, and there are claims that there are fraudulent, so that where the methylbromide isn't actually being administered either in the proper way or at all, but yet fraudulent. Have you encountered any fraudulent certifications?
I have not heard of that, but I don't address that within the department.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
Let's see. That's all for now. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, members. Members, I skipped Kolhauer Bandera, testifier for the Kona Coffee Farmers Association. Kolhauers, are you here? There he is.
Okay. All good?
All good.
Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, thank you for hearing my testimony. And actually, I'll just stand by the written testimony you received. I appreciate the conversation that occurred. I also want to take a moment just to thank you all directly and seriously for allowing us to testify this way. I know it was pandemic induced. However, realistically and truthfully, from a farmer perspective, the options aren't very broad to get to Honolulu to testify live. And so I think that this approach that hopefully will continue is very useful and beneficial for us. And I hope that working with the HWN and or APHIS and other entities, we can seek to resolve not only the issues that have occurred up until this point, but contemplate, how in the future we can avoid similar things occurring, because I think reacting to the problem and trying to identify why it occurred is useful, but it's only useful for preventing other similar things occurring in the future. And I think we still need to keep our eyes towards the future and work to ensure that repetition doesn't occur. So thank you, though, very much for taking the time to hear me. Aloha.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bandera. Hello. Members, any other questions on these two measures?
Chair, I guess this
Yes.
is also for Department of Agriculture, if they know. But again, I'm not sure which of the specialists would be. But perhaps I'll just ask, so are you folks aware of instances where green coffee beans were imported from India, perhaps South Kona area, that were not treated?
I think that, thank you, Senator, for the question. This is Phyllis Shimabukuro Geyser. I would have Jonathan Ho address that because it concerns importation.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Jonathan Ho. I am the Acting Plant Quarantine Branch Manager. So I think to answer the question with regards to that particular shipment, I'm not aware of those of any type of coffee beans being imported into the state and being released knowingly without a treatment. We have had in the past shipments that did not have fumigation or the appropriate fumigation, and those shipments were sent out of the state. There's no, we would never allow for a shipment to be imported without treatment and be released. And I think, so if you don't mind, but I think to answer the last question about the fumigation certificates,
yes,
we're also not aware of any fumigation certificate fraud. The fumigators that we use are very regular. They're also licensed, and we're not aware of anybody using any use of a fraudulent or anything that we would have considered fraudulent. And if there is any questions about that, obviously the shipment would be held until we could verify the validity of a certificate, should that occur.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, members, we're now moving on to the final measure on the 105 agenda, I believe, SCR 234 and SR 194, urging the Department of Agriculture to expand its quarantine facilities of the Plant Quarantine Branch. First up is DOA.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. The department stands on its written testimony offering comments. This effort would still be inadequate if the intent is to provide capacity for the total number of plants needed statewide for the entire industry. We do have the ability, the Board of Agriculture, through HAR 4-70-6 to shorten or exempt existing quarantines. And we feel that that ability that already exists for the Board of Agriculture is the most immediate solution for importing clean stock. In fact, yesterday the board did approve shortening quarantine for USDA ARS. So we're available to answer any questions that you may have, and we have Darcy Oishi and Jonathan Ho as subject matter experts. Mahalo.
Thank you, Phyllis. Next up is Chris Manfredi from the Hawaii Coffee Association.
Aloha again, Chair. Thank you. Hawaii Coffee Association supports any measure that will increase the quarantine facility capacity within the state of Hawaii. We are presently navigating through that process between APHIS and HDOA and examining the methodology and basically the supply chain of how to bring in rust-resistant varieties, test them, grow them, distribute them, and a major bottleneck in that process is the availability of quarantine facilities. So it's an important element of the survival of Hawaii's coffee industry. We hope the department will also consider approving private quarantine facilities in lieu of the lack of public facilities. We understand APHIS has a major role to play there. So this resolution is a timely one. We appreciate it. We appreciate the opportunity to talk about the issue. I want to do all we can to improve the capacity of quarantine industries and facilities in the state of Hawaii, both in this measure and others. Also, Chair, if I may, I had my hand up, and I know it's inappropriate, but it is Zoom. So on SCR 258, there's a lot of discussion about the phasing out of methyl bromide on a number of different crops. Ozone treatments are considered to replace methyl bromide as a safer alternative. There's some gaps in the research to be able to do that, whether the existing research includes the coffees being treated in a vacuum chamber or not. So I just want to make the committee aware of that. Jonathan.
Chris, we'll have to cut you off, Chris. I'm sorry, we've got the 2-minute limit.
Okay, sir, sorry.
That's okay. Thank you very much. Members, any questions? Okay. And we shall go to the breakout room for some discussion. Okay. Reconvening the 105 AEN hearing on a few measures here. The first, SCR 92 SR 71. Excuse me. Requesting that the Department of Agriculture to consider amending the eligibility qualifications and lease terms for its agriculture lots to aid small farm businesses. Chair's recommendation would be to pass SCR 92 and SR 71 with tech amendments. Any concerns? Seeing none, Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Nishihara. Got to turn on your mic.
Okay, aye.
Okay, thank you. Senator Ocasio,
Aye.
Senator Rhodes,
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Measure passes. Thank you. And then on to SCR 258 and SR 217, urging the Department of Agriculture to identify how coffee berry borer and coffee leaf rust entered into Hawaii and measures to prevent the flow of these invasive species into the state to protect the ongoing viability of Hawaii's coffee industry. Members, this resolution would require Department of Ag to do some digging and coordinating with other agencies, such as the USDA, to come up with some theories and possible evidence on how coffee berry borer and coffee leaf rust arrived to our islands. So the chair's recommendation is to pass SCR 258 and SR 217 with tech amendments. Any discussion? Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Nishihara.
Aye.
Senator Ocasio.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Thank you, members. And then moving on to SCR 234 and SR 194, urging the Department of Agriculture to expand its quarantine facilities of the plant quarantine branch. Members, it appears that we are leaving federal money on the table that could be used to expand plant quarantine facilities. So the chair's recommendation would be to pass SCR 234 and SR 194 with amendments. We'll adopt a friendly amendment from the author of this reso, Senator Kanuha, to insert the following language on page 3, line 2. The be it resolved clause will read as follows: be it resolved by the Senate of the 31st Legislature of the State of Hawaii, regular session of 2021, the House of Representatives concurring, that the Department of Agriculture is urged to determine the cost of quarantine facilities in affected areas and to expand its quarantine facilities under the jurisdiction of the plant quarantine branch. And there are some tech amendments. Any concerns, questions? Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Nishihara.
Aye.
Senator Ocasio.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Thank you, members. And that concludes our 105, and we'll see you at 145 with the joint with Water and Land. Aloha. Mahalo.